Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Quantum Leap Futures Morning Leap session for Monday, July the 24th, 2017. My name is Doug McKay. I'm the founder of Quantum Leap Futures. Each morning we get together in these live go-to sessions to take a look at the market, macro to micro, take a look at the structure of the market, and then we drill down to our trade levels, our targets, and our main hypotheses for the day. We do create multiple hypotheses in order to have a plan in place so that we can watch to see what the market does and then use the plan that best fits the market and execute upon that plan rather than trying to figure out what we're going to do on the fly. This is a subscription room. If you're interested in checking out, send me an email at quantumleapfutures@gmail.com. There's no website, there's no blog, this is not a commercial venture. We do everything live here in the go-to, in the pre-market session, then live trading and analysis during the course of the trading day. Please read through the disclaimer. Nobody at Quantum Leap is a certified trading advisor. We are retail traders operating within a self-organized learning environment. Past performance is not indicative of future results, and any trades that you see in Quantum Leap are for education purposes only. Please trade your own due diligence, your own trade plan, and your own risk metrics. Okay, so first things first, let's just take a look at Friday. After Thursday failed to put in the equalized high, we have an unequalized high that was put in the Globex at 76.25. We got up to 75.25 and failed on Thursday. Then we gapped down on Friday, and basically we fought the low of Thursday's range for most of the day, and then we started working our way back up, but they really didn't get very far. They missed the closing the gap and the naked VPOC. I was looking for a move to that 71.25. 71.75, because we had a zipper measured move. It did not get there, and it just basically another one of these ugly profile days, multiple distributions, basically just going sideways for the most part on Friday. We did get a VPOC shift into the close. Doesn't show that on my picture. After I did multiple downloads, you can see that in the last 5 minutes, we did shift up to the VPOC up to 69.50. Let's just take a look at the news today. Sorry, I actually should take a look at the news for the week. It is a Fed week. No big news really today. We do have flash manufacturing PMI and flash services PMI at 945 and existing home sales, but they're not big market movers. Now this week, as we move forward, we've got CV Consumer Confidence and Richmond Manufacturing Index tomorrow, and then the big news, of course, is going to be the Wednesday. You've got new home sales, you've got crude oil, and you've got Fed statement and rate. And we'll see if we get a rate change or not in July. And then on Thursday, we continue with core durable goods orders and unemployment claims, durable good orders and trade balance, preliminary inventory, wholesale inventories, natural gas. And then on Friday, we've got advanced GDP quarter over quarter, unemployment costs, University of Michigan consumer sentiment and inflation expectation, and cash carry speaking. So a lot of news this week. It is also a earnings week, really big on earnings. Tonight, after the market close, so far, again, you can see earnings continue to be, for the most part, pretty darn good. This earnings season has just been on a positive note. And this week gets really heavy. Like tonight, we have Google and Logitech are going to be the two big ones. And then as we move forward, you can see that Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday are the heaviest news, in the earnings season. So going to be a fairly steady week of earnings reports coming out. So just keep that in mind. I wanted to just take a quick look at the COT. I can find it. There it is here. Now, this is interesting because of the fact that right now, small spec continues to get more net short, where the large spec continues to get more net positive, and you can see that commercial is net short, but it's not real heavy. And if you look at patterns before where this has happened, okay, and you can see here where the retail is getting more net short, but the large spec was getting more net positive, we had a spike up into new all-time highs. And you can see it here, it happened here. So just very important to understand that, smart money is still not real negative. And we're likely to still see, we have that unequalized high between the Globex high of 76 and a quarter and the RTH all-time high at 75 and a quarter. And, it looked like we were going to have a pretty weak night. They opened up, and you can see we had a one tick failed auction on the open, last night, where they one ticked the high of the RTH session on Friday, and then they rotated it all back down and basically came back into balance where the VPOC was for most of the day before it got stolen into the close and shifted up. So this is really, even though we had the volume on the close to shift the VPOC up, you can see that they're accepting that value lower throughout the Globex session, and then this morning they started working it way back up. We're creating a double distribution day and working our way back up into the VPOC from Friday close and towards this naked VPOC up here at 71 and that naked close that we left behind. So they had pretty strong price acceptance, throughout the night, and then finally they broke out of that price acceptance, that balance, and went back into price discovery and moving back up. And as they got to where the price acceptance was, the VPOC shift at the end of the session, a little bit of selling came in, and they're creating a upper distribution around that price acceptance. So if we look at the big picture, actually, let's just step back, take a look at the macro and micro. You can see that I use a simple candlestick chart with a 9 EMA, 20 SMA. I'm looking for slope of separation, where we are within the trend in the different time frames. I started on the monthly and I work my way down. You can see great slope and separation. Prices paralleling the 9 very nicely in the on the monthly, nowhere near to violating the trend on the monthly. On the weekly, well, we're back to one time framing up. Okay, you can see we had higher low, higher low, higher low, and opening up near the all-time highs. Good slope and separation. We don't even begin to challenge the trend until we get into the 2440 area. Going to the daily, you can see that we had a pretty parabolic move up after this consolidation period here, and now we're into consolidation on the daily, moving down to the 2460, 2459 is going to be extremely important to us, because we have all these longs, and there's going to be stop runs below this area. And if they get down there, it could be a trap, and we could basically push down a bit and then get a boomerang effect and go and take out those all-time highs. If we break below the 59 area and get back into the value area, of the last 3 days, then we could be looking for a move down towards the 24 30, 2440 area, before they balance out again. So it's going to be interesting to watch that level. But the trend itself is very much intact. As we move to the intraday, you can see that we were starting to trend down, getting a start of a trend, and they've taken it back so far. We're fighting the 20 SMA. We just took out this 4-hour naked cross that we had put in overnight. So we're in this consolidation pattern right here and fighting the downward trend. Going to the 1 hour, you can see we've broke above the 9 and the 20 and looking for possibility of a continuation to the upside. Going to the 30-minute, we've in possibly got 5 minutes, possibly going to get a 30-minute Mr. Sneaky. A return to that technical gap fill will bring us back down into the 67 and a quarter, but the trend is up on the 30-minute, and then the 15-minute. You can see we do have a FUBAR Mr. Sneaky technical gap. A tech gap will bring us down into the 68, 67 area, but the trend is up. We do have a naked cross down here at the 65, 66 area. So if we do come back down and don't hold the 9 and we break below that 67.50, there's your first target down there at 66. I would use. You could use 65.75. And then on the 5-minute, you can see that we did come down, close this technical gap, and we're banging on the 9 right now. But the trend itself is still up. And we do have a naked cross down here as well at the 65 and a quarter. So just keep those both in mind. Taking a look at the big picture, you can see that this is a very flat area of this balance. Okay, there's not a lot of price acceptance in this area other than around the 69.50, but it's really not. I mean, you can see that the profiles themselves have been thin and not a lot of kurtosis in terms of strong price acceptance. We're in brand new territory, and nobody has determined where fair value is. The current VPOC is 69.50, and we just moved up there, and we're seeing some two-sided trading up here, but there's not a lot up here. The level to watch is going to be in the 61 and a quarter to 59.50. I'm really just watching the 60 area, and if we get below that, then I'm looking for a move back down towards the 57.50, and see if they trap some of these shorts and then boomerang back up and go up towards that 75 and a quarter, 76 and a quarter unequalized all-time highs between the Globex and the RTH session. Now, if we come down and they don't bounce off of the 57, then we're likely to push through and test the lower side of balance and the low of the value area for the 3 days of price acceptance after the breakout down at the 53. Also remember that this is a gap zone below us. So the mid of the gap, I believe, is 2460. So if we do break below that 61, we're going to probably get a little bit of a push through, and we can take a look at the gaps and where they're filled. We have a naked close here at 58 and a quarter, and that's really why if we break below the 60, I'm looking for them to push down into not just going and testing the half gap, but actually coming down and closing out this naked close and testing the naked VPOCs that are down there on the microcomposite and on the regular trading session. So in terms of our levels right now, get rid of some of these drawing tools here. We are creating a double distribution. I don't know if we're going to get a VPOC shift. We need to trade a lot of volume. So I'm going to put the overnight VPOC 65.50. which is sitting right on the value area low. Now, what's just interesting overnight is this was such a late move on the VPOC shifting that you have a rare occurrence where the VPOC is actually sitting at the value area high. So this is going to become somewhat of an over-under line for us here, because I'm really thinking that this is the more important level right here at 65.75, where the VPOC was. So you've got this very rare occurrence. You can see how boxy this profile is. You had most of the day our VPOC sat at the 65.50, and your value area low is I'm sorry, 65.75. Your value area low is one tick below that. Then you get the steal, the VPOC up, and your value area high and your VPOC is on top of each other. What this tells me is this area between 65.50 and 69.50 is extremely dangerous. Okay, and you've got to be, if you want to trade in this area or enter a trade in this area, you have to accept the fact that you could take heat, okay, up or below your entry up to 69.50 or 65.50 before you get proven whether or not your hypothesis is correct. So my recommendation is just be careful in this area, and I would not try to enter into this area unless you've got some other setup or something to lean against, okay, and you're prepared to take heat, okay, on your trade through this zone. This zone is very, very confusing. Now, we are getting a little bit more information, whereas we got this LVN that's setting up right here at the 68. So I'm going to use the 68 as an LVN, and I would actually move it down and use the 67.50 to the 68 as a little bit of a slosh zone there. You've got 66.75 VWAP, 50% retracement of this closing swing to the upside, and the LVN to lean against. Below it, look for a move down to test the value area low and the VPOC from overnight, and the prior VPOC from the most of the day on Friday. And then I would be using the 64.50 as your trade area versus using the value area because of this fact here. And then below that, you've got the range low of 62. But again, I'm looking at the 61 and a quarter, and I'm going to use that as my over underline. Actually, I'm going to use it as my key line in the sand. And below that, we get the half gap fill at 60. The 58, what is that, 58? That is 58.50 is the top of the range. So that closes the range gap. And then you've got the naked close down there. This is going to change. I'm going to take this right off, and I'm going to move this down to the 57.50 and put it on the CHVM. Again, this is a rare time where I'm looking at a high volume node as a trade area versus a target, because the targets are going to be at the 58.75 and the 58 and a quarter gap fill. And then our overnight high is up at 70.50. So based on our 20 period daily ATR, which is running at 17.05, Our downside daily ATR target is all the way down here at 53.50. And that's just below a naked VPOC at 54.25. And our overnight low is 63.50. And 63.50 plus the 17.05. Our upside daily ATR is 80.50. We still have that measured move to 82. Oh. Okay, to the upside, obviously above the 67. That's where I want to try to enter. But any break above the 69.50, again, this is going to be a situation where I'm using a high volume node and a value area. As an entry, because I'm targeting the overnight high and the naked close at 71 and the naked VPOC at 71.50. And I don't know, did we violate the zipper measured move? Yeah, we didn't, but it came awfully close. So it'll be interesting to see. I'm going to be watching for whether or not they put a zipper in right here. So in terms of hypotheses, let's get the upper numbers here going. We've got 72 will be another area just above that 71 to 75, and I'll be targeting 73.75, and then of course the RTH high and the takeout of the all-time Globex high, and from there's nothing to guide us. So this trend is still strong. I'm waiting to see whether or not they hold the 68 area, but it looks like we're going to open auction in range. So my main hypothesis is an open auction in range, a push down, and then somewhere between the 68 and the 65, I'm looking for responsive buyers to step in, rotate us up through to the 69, chop in the 69 to 70, take out the overnight high, and come push up into the 71, 75, and start balancing up here between here and the 74. Whether we continue up to the all-time highs, I would think if we did it would be a late day probe. And of course, we've got range capabilities all the way up for new all-time highs up into the 80-50. So the Hypo 1 is open auction in range, a push down somewhere between 68 and 65, maybe even a push through to the 63, fail to break the low, and then rotate up into the 70 area, chop around in this area as we clear this up, and then get a push up into the 73, 74, and possibly put in a new all-time high with late day pro. In terms of Hypo 2, I'm looking for open auction in range, a push up, a false break, and a takeout of the 70, 71, 72 area. Responsive seller stepping in, rotating us back down, and basically chopping between the 64 and the 69, and then a late day probe down into this gap zone, and a close somewhere down here, back around that 58, 57 area, and close back into this 3-day gap, 3-day balance area. That is my hypo 2. Hypo 3 is a open test drive, a move down, fail to take out the overnight low, push up really strong into the 72 area, and then break and push up and go in and come up and close somewhere up here in the 78 area to 80, 50 area, and get a continuation day to the upside. Hypo 4 is a open auction in range, failure to take out the overnight high, leave the RTH high from Friday alone, come back into the gap zone, chop around in the gap zone, and then fail and push down and come back and start doing some repair and come down and close somewhere towards this LVN down here at the 51 and a quarter, and possibly even testing the previous all-time high again at 51.50. I don't expect to get much lower than that today. So those are my four main hypotheses. It's going to be a rotational day today. There's just so much above us and so much below us, and we're seeing shifts of forces. The buyers seem to be taking control, and then they lose it, and the sellers try to take control, and then they lose it. So really ugly looking profiles that have multiple distributions and quick moves that can punish you very quickly. So just don't get stubborn. Taking a look at gold. I know this is taking a long time, just lots to cover. We talked about this move back towards the composite VPOC. We got our move. I now expect to balance out here and chop around here. Possibly even we got a 55-point move off of this low here. So I would think that they're probably going to come and do some backfilling, and we're likely to get a counter rotation, probably even down to this 48, 49 area, even possibly the 41. But I expect to balance out overall in this area before we either fail and move back down or get the continuation. I'm thinking continuation up, but you never know. This is a big move, so we could easily see a $20 move, and that would take us back down into this the 30 to 40 level and back towards this prior balance. But the buyers certainly came in and took control. We do have a gap zone down here that we also have to pay attention to, and that's all the way down into the 29 area. So key levels to watch for today is a break above this prior fractal high at 60 for a continuation move up into the 69, or a break below the 49 and a push down towards that first target at 45 and 42. So that's going to complete our pre-market session. As always, trade well, trade safe, and I'll catch you on the flip side.